Let us imagine for a moment that on the planet, a single brand holds absolute dominance over access to the elements essential for society's subsistence. This scenario, worthy of a biblical prophecy, plunges us into an abyss filled with ethical and moral dilemmas of extraordinary magnitude. At today's meeting, we will go deeper into this topic, uncovering the repercussions that this phenomenon has on our individual freedoms and our daily routine. For centuries, the question of the mark of the beast has been the subject of debate, and its exact nature has generated a wide range of theories and interpretations. Some speculate that it could manifest itself as a microchip implanted in humans, while others suggest it could be a universal identification card or even a DNA marker hidden in a vaccine. Dolores Cannon, through her book The Enveloped Universe, offered a fascinating and unique perspective on the theme of the beast's mark. By suggesting that symbolic marks have historically been not only tools of oppression, but also possible catalysts of transformation in the evolution of civilizations, he urged us to look beyond the obvious. This vision invites us to consider the deepest and most spiritual implications behind the notion of the mark of the beast. This fascinating book explores how acceptance or rejection of the beast mark can influence the spiritual and evolutionary course of humanity. And he suggested that our individual and collective choices in relation to this symbol can have significant consequences for our spiritual destiny and humanity's future direction. By adopting this perspective, he addresses a topic that transcends the understanding of a biblical prophecy. It becomes a deeper exploration of our relationship with power, freedom, and spiritual evolution. It encourages us to question our rooted beliefs and consider how our actions and decisions can influence the course of our own evolution and that of humanity as a whole. We must urgently prepare ourselves for a future that could challenge our fundamental beliefs in freedom and control. This preparation involves not only being technically equipped to face possible scenarios, but also being mentally and emotionally prepared to deal with the complex ethical and moral ramifications that might arise. The question of whether opposing the brand would isolate us or free us raises a crucial dilemma. Despite the potential for social exclusion and loss of access to basic services, we can view resistance as a way to uphold our fundamental principles and values. On the other hand, brand adoption could offer convenience and access to certain benefits, but at the cost of compromising our deeper principles of autonomy and individual freedom. This questioning leads us to a deeper reflection on the very nature of our fundamental principles and to what extent we would be willing to yield them in the name of convenience or security. It encourages us to consider not only the immediate implications of our decisions, but also how they could influence the future course of society and the evolution of our power and control structures. In the digital age, we are at a critical point where technological convenience and surveillance are increasingly intermingling, blurring the distinction between what we consider useful and what we perceive as an invasion of our privacy. Technological advancements like radio frequency identification chips, biometric identifiers, and digital identification systems make this merger tangible. Originally intended for tracking goods, radio frequency identification chips are now being adaptable for human use. This poses the possibility of almost constant, ubiquitous surveillance. Biometric identifiers, which use facial recognition and fingerprint reading, are already common in devices and building security, but their use in wider areas could involve comprehensive monitoring of people's daily activities. For their part, digital identification systems are gaining ground, with the ability to record and monitor all our transactions, movements, and even medical treatments. In this scenario, it is crucial to consider the potential of these technologies to exercise absolute control over access to essential social goods, such as food, travel, and healthcare. Imagine a scenario in which a centralized authority has the power to regulate who can buy food, which individuals can travel to, or who can receive medical care, all based on a single digital identification system. This level of control over fundamental aspects of everyday life raises serious concerns in terms of privacy, individual autonomy, and the possibility of abuse of power. The idea of compulsory participation in a digital system raises very difficult ethical and moral dilemmas to solve. The need to balance technological progress with ethical considerations becomes even more pressing when we face the possibility that participation in such a system is a requirement for accessing basic services or our livelihoods. It is essential that we carefully examine the integration of technology into our daily lives, not only considering its practical implications, but also recognizing its potential to affect our fundamental freedoms. This exploration becomes even more relevant when we consider the parallels between certain emerging technologies and the notion of the mark of the beast, a topic that has historically been the subject of speculation and debate in terms of its meaning and implications. Looking at these similarities between modern technology and ancient prophecies, we face a crucial discourse that prepares us for an uncertain future, where our individual decisions could have a significant impact on our social participation and the preservation of our personal freedoms. When considering technological advances and their impact on our lives, we find ourselves faced with the important question of how much control we are willing to give in exchange for the benefits of a more connected world. This dilemma prompts us to reflect on the limits of our own autonomy and the need to maintain a balance between convenience and the preservation of our individual freedoms. However, there is an even deeper and more fascinating aspect that deserves exploration. Beyond the simple idea of physical marks or technological identifiers, there is a theory that the mark of the beast could have a deeper esoteric meaning. This interpretation suggests that accepting the brand not only implies submitting to a system of economic control, but also represents a fundamental choice of spiritual or moral loyalty. In this perspective, the mark of the beast becomes a symbol of adherence to a set of values or beliefs that are in conflict with certain spiritual truths or ethical standards. Accepting the brand may not only be a matter of convenience or necessity, but can also have profound implications for our own spiritual and moral evolution as individuals. The challenge's true essence may lie not so much in resistance to a physical or technological brand in itself, as in the ability to resist the subtle but powerful influence of dominant ideologies or economic systems that require commitments to our deepest personal values. A multitude of ideologies and belief systems constantly seek to shape our perceptions and behaviors in an increasingly interconnected and globalized world. Economic, political, or cultural structures may root these ideologies, promoting certain values and norms often at the cost of our own moral and ethical integrity. The proposed mystical interpretation is based on Dolores Cannon's perspective on the decisions that impact our spiritual evolution. According to Cannon, every choice we make carries with it a significant weight in our cosmic journey, suggesting that the mark of the beast could have a more symbolic nature and represent fundamental decisions that define our spiritual trajectories. By raising this idea, we are not only challenging the very nature of the brand, but we are also inviting a deep reflection on how our daily decisions can align or disagree with the deeper implications of this symbol. Without knowing it, are we on a path that leads us to brand acceptance, not through direct coercion, but through a series of seemingly insignificant but cumulative choices? This exploration leads us to ask critical questions about individual autonomy, social conformity, and the very essence of spiritual integrity in an ever more complex and changing world. It challenges us to examine our daily actions and decisions from a broader perspective, recognizing how even the smallest choices can have a significant impact on our personal and spiritual evolution. At the same time, it is crucial to explore the global implications of this symbol, especially in terms of how it could reformulate international relations and global governance. Decisions and actions related to accepting or rejecting this symbol can have large-scale global repercussions in an increasingly interconnected world, where physical borders are blurring and interactions between nations are more frequent and complex than ever. The establishment of a global branding system could radically transform the dynamics of power between countries and redefine international relations based on who has access to global resources and opportunities. This could lead to a new form of geopolitical stratification, where alignment or resistance to the branding system determines a country or region's access to international economic resources and opportunities. Furthermore, the establishment of a global branding system prompts significant ethical and political inquiries regarding the system's control, the measures taken to ensure fairness and justice in its implementation, and the measures taken to safeguard human rights and privacy in this context. Dolores Cannon's ideas on universal consciousness and the interconnection of all beings directly inform this global perspective, which explores the broad implications of the beast's brand in terms of international relations and global governance. Cannon posits that our individual actions have a collective impact on the world around us, implying a deeper connection between us all. If the beast's brand becomes a tangible reality, this potentially monumental test of our collective ethical frameworks could fundamentally challenge our understanding of what it means to be human in an increasingly technological and globalized world. We would face the need to find a delicate balance between technological progress and the protection of fundamental human rights. This dilemma would force us to reflect on our priorities as a global society. Do we value technological progress and efficiency more at the expense of privacy and individual autonomy? Or do we seek a balance that allows us to benefit from the advantages of technology without compromising our ethical values and fundamental rights? Testing our collective ethical frameworks would remind us of the importance of having an ethical and human perspective in an increasingly technology-dominated world. It would urge us to consider how we can use technology in a responsible and ethical way to improve our lives and those of others without undermining the fundamental principles of human dignity, freedom, and justice. It is essential that we reflect on the future that we are shaping through our technological and political decisions, as these decisions have the power to shape the global landscape in the years to come. We are facing a crossroads. Are we moving towards a more unified and equitable world? Or are we involuntarily paving the way for greater division and control? Every choice we make, whether in terms of technological development or policy making, has significant implications for the global community. We are at a crucial point in history where our decisions can profoundly impact the direction that humanity will take in the future. As we consider the potential of a global branding system, it is essential to understand the full spectrum of human reactions it could generate. This allows us to anticipate both the potential successes and the challenges that might arise from such an initiative. Understanding how people would react to the implementation of a global branding system allows us to better prepare ourselves to address problems that may arise and find solutions that are fair and equitable for all. This detailed analysis of human reactions also helps us assess the viability and acceptability of a global branding system in today's society. It allows us to weigh the potential benefits of such a system against potential risks and challenges, enabling us to make informed and ethical decisions about how to proceed in the future. The decision to accept or reject the mark of the beast is a complex dilemma that people will face in a world where such a system is implemented. For some individuals, compliance may appear to be a necessary commitment to their lifestyle and safety within a society that values compliance and compliance with established standards. These individuals might be inclined to embrace the brand as a means of ensuring their social inclusion and gaining access to its services and advantages. However, for others, resistance to the brand could emerge as a non-negotiable moral imperative. These people could see the brand's acceptance as a betrayal of its ethical principles and a surrender to a system they perceive as oppressive and controlling. For them, rejecting the brand could be a matter of personal integrity and a defense of fundamental human rights and freedoms. This dichotomy between acceptance and resistance reflects the complexities inherent in ethical decision-making in an increasingly technological and globalized world. People must weigh the benefits and risks of accepting the brand, taking into account not only their immediate needs, but also their deepest values and beliefs. A variety of complex factors, including fear, need, and ingrained belief systems, motivate decisions related to acceptance or resistance to the beast's mark. Fear, in particular, can play a significant role in decision-making, as fear of exclusion from fundamental social benefits such as healthcare, banking, and education can exert considerable pressure on individuals to accept the brand. Given the prospect of losing access to these essential services, some people may feel compelled to conform to the brand, even if that means sacrificing part of their privacy or personal freedom. On the other hand, a person's ingrained beliefs, such as a strong commitment to personal freedom and privacy, or their religious convictions that forbid accepting any government-imposed brand or identity, can drive resistance to a particular brand. These individuals perceive the brand's rejection as a form of resistance against their perceived unjust intrusion into their autonomy and a violation of their deepest values. In addition to fear and personal beliefs, need can also influence decisions related to the beast's brand. People facing significant economic or social difficulties may feel additional pressure to accept the brand as a way to ensure their survival and stability in society. For them, the need for access to basic services and opportunities can overshadow any concern about the ethical or moral implications of accepting the brand. The duality of reaction to the mark of the beast can generate significant divisions within societies, resulting in the formation of two distinct groups: those who comply with the mark and those who resist its imposition. This division not only reflects differences in individual beliefs, values, and priorities, but can also lead to social tensions and fragmentation of community cohesion. The existence of these divergent groups can have profound implications for society as a whole. On the one hand, those who comply with the brand can find benefits and privileges within the established system, which could widen the gap between them and those who resist. This could create additional tensions between the two groups and further undermine social cohesion. Conversely, individuals who oppose the brand may seek to establish alternative or parallel communities, establishing distinct rules and trading systems in response to the brand's rejection. These communities can emerge as refuges for those who feel alienated or marginalized by the dominant system, and they could represent a significant challenge to established status. Furthermore, the existence of these parallel communities could further deepen social and political divisions, resulting in greater social unrest and internal conflicts. This could create a fragmented and polarized social landscape, in which confidence and cooperation between different groups are scarce, and tensions between them are high. Studying these reactions also necessitates examining potential strategies that governments and organizations could employ to encourage compliance with the beast mark. These strategies can cover a wide range of tactics, from implementing tempting incentives for those who accept the brand to imposing severe penalties on those who refuse to do so. Social and economic pressures could significantly influence individuals' decisions, further complicating this complex ethical landscape. The possibility of receiving tangible benefits or special privileges could tempt some people to accept the brand, especially if it provides them with easier access to global services and economic opportunities. On the other hand, those who resist the brand may face adverse consequences, ranging from social exclusion to the loss of basic rights and individual freedoms. This dichotomy raises a difficult question. How much would individuals be willing to sacrifice in terms of personal freedom and autonomy in exchange for material benefits and security? Understanding the broader implications of these decisions is crucial in preparing for a future where such dilemmas can become ubiquitous. By considering how government strategies and social pressures could influence individual decisions, we can better anticipate the ethical and moral challenges that might arise and find ways to address them effectively and fairly. In contemporary society, discussions about ethical dilemmas and the spiritual implications of widespread adoption of technologies related to the Beast's brand are essential. This reflection leads us to explore the intersection between technology, ethics, and spirituality, as well as how our technological decisions can influence our spiritual and ethical lives. The integration of technologies that could align with the Beast's mark prophecy poses significant ethical challenges. On the one hand, these technologies have the potential to deliver tangible benefits to society by improving efficiency, connectivity, and quality of life. However, they also raise concerns about privacy, individual autonomy, and abuse of power by authorities and corporations. The fundamental question that arises is how we can ensure that technological advances benefit society without infringing on individual freedoms. Who should decide which technologies to implement and how to use them? How can we set ethical and legal boundaries to protect human rights in an increasingly technology-dominated world? In addition to ethical considerations, we must also reflect on the spiritual implications of these technologies. How will these innovations affect our relationships with the divine and other human beings? Could they erode our spiritual connection and our compassion for others? Or could they be tools to promote global peace, understanding, and solidarity? The idea of how digital or physical labels can have the potential to track multiple aspects of our lives raises deep ethical and moral questions. Considering the potential use of these technologies to monitor not only our financial movements and transactions, but also our personal interactions, we must confront the fundamental question of how much power we are willing to cede to technological systems and their controlling entities. The potential for abuse of these technologies is significant, leading us to reflect on the limits of state and corporate surveillance, as well as the protection of privacy and individual autonomy. The ability of these systems to collect and analyze vast amounts of data about our lives raises concerns about the possibility of discrimination, manipulation, and social control. In this context, Dolores Cannon's ideas gain special relevance. Dolores Cannon's analysis of the intertwining of technological and spiritual developments reminds us that our technological choices carry not only practical implications, but also profound implications for our spiritual and moral health. Every technological choice we make is also a spiritual choice, as it can influence our collective consciousness and the quality of our relationships with others and the world around us. Therefore, when considering the implementation of surveillance and control technologies, we must consider not only their practical benefits, but also their ethical and spiritual implications. We must ask ourselves whether these technologies align with our deepest values and contribute to the creation of a more just, equitable, and compassionate world. The idea of the beast mark, whether interpreted literally or symbolically, faces us at a fundamental crossroads between technological progress and our deepest ethical and spiritual values. This concept reminds us that our decisions on technology are not merely practical issues, but have far-reaching ethical and spiritual implications. The beast mark serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of aligning our technological capabilities with our most fundamental values. It challenges us to reflect on the kind of world we want to live in and the consequences of our technological choices in terms of human freedom, integrity, and dignity. Are we willing to embrace technology unconditionally, even if it means sacrificing some of our fundamental freedoms and spiritual integrity? Or do we seek a balance that allows us to benefit from technological advances while keeping our ethical and spiritual principles intact? These questions lead us to the heart of a crucial debate about the role of technology in our society and in our personal lives. They challenge us to consider not only the practical benefits of technology, but also its possible side effects in terms of privacy, autonomy, and social cohesion. The decisions we face in relation to technological development are not merely theoretical. In fact, they are increasingly rooted in reality. With the rapid advancement of technology, scenarios that were once considered purely science fiction are now becoming more and more tangible. It is therefore imperative that our society engage in deep and meaningful debates on the implications of these emerging technologies. In this regard, public debates and policymaking play a crucial role in determining the future direction of the technological landscape. These processes provide a platform for discussing and deliberating on the ethical, social, and spiritual implications of emerging technologies, enabling the identification of potential risks and the adoption of appropriate preventive measures. Furthermore, promoting a culture of awareness and education is critical to empowering individuals to make informed decisions about their participation in technological systems, such as the Beastmark. By understanding the potential ethical and spiritual ramifications of these technologies, people can critically evaluate their own involvement and make decisions in line with their personal values and beliefs. To ensure that technological development aligns with fundamental ethical principles and human values, we must engage in open dialogue and carefully consider the ethical and spiritual implications of technology. By cultivating a thoughtful and responsible approach to the adoption of new technologies, we can create a technological future that reflects and promotes the highest standards of ethical and spiritual integrity. In contemplating our future, it is essential to recognize the importance of continuous dialogue, a constant search for information, and active participation in shaping our social and technological frameworks. Although the prophecy of the mark of the beast may be a literal truth or not, the topics it addresses are genuine and relevant. It urges us to reflect not only on our relationship with technology, but also on how we defend the values that identify us as human beings. Open dialogue and meaningful communication are key to addressing the challenges and opportunities arising from rapid technological advances. Through the exchange of ideas, we can gain a deeper understanding of the ethical, social, and spiritual implications of our technological decisions. This allows us to make more informed and ethical decisions about how we use and relate to technology in our daily lives. In addition, the active search for information empowers us to better understand emerging technological developments and their potential impacts on our lives and society as a whole. Keeping informed helps us identify the risks and opportunities associated with the adoption of new technologies, which in turn enables us to make more informed and responsible decisions. Active participation in defining our social and technological frameworks implies taking a proactive stance in promoting fundamental values such as ethics, justice, and human dignity. This can involve participating in democratic processes, advocating policies that protect individual and collective rights, and working towards a technological future that reflects and promotes the noblest values of humanity. The mark of the beast is a concept that has its roots in the Bible, specifically in the Book of Revelation. Biblical interpretation posits that the mark of the beast refers to a symbol or mark that will serve as a form of identification and control for people during the end times. In today's era, marked by technological advances and material focus, the search for meaning and spiritual connection remains a fundamental necessity. Spirituality offers a way to explore dimensions beyond the tangible and material, opening doors to a sense of purpose, connection, and transcendence. In a world where technology and materialism can dominate, spirituality gives us the opportunity to connect with something deeper and more meaningful. It invites us to look beyond our everyday concerns and explore aspects of ourselves and the universe that go beyond the physical and observable. Spirituality is not limited to traditional religious practices, but encompasses a wide range of individual beliefs and practices. It can manifest itself through meditation, contemplation of nature, the search for inner truth, or participation in diverse spiritual communities. Each person can find their own spiritual path, adapted to their personal beliefs, values, and experiences. By cultivating our spirituality, we can find a deeper sense of connection with ourselves, with others, and with the universe as a whole. This can lead to greater personal satisfaction, greater resilience to life's challenges, and a greater understanding of our purpose in the world. The notion of the beast's mark has been a subject of speculation and discussion throughout history, mainly in theological and metaphysical contexts. A metaphysical perspective interprets it as a symbol of affiliation with dark or corrupt forces that detach the individual from their true spiritual essence. This mark is not necessarily a physical sign, but rather a spiritual influence or condition that separates the individual from his connection to the divine. In this reflection, we can go deeper into the idea that the beast mark represents the temptations and negative impulses that we face in our lives. These can take various forms, such as selfishness, greed, hatred, envy, and other destructive behaviors that drive us away from our spiritual path. These forces can exert a powerful attraction on us, diverting us from our higher purpose and obscuring our perception of truth. The metaphor of the beast's mark invites us to reflect on how these negative forces can influence our lives and our decisions. It reminds us that we are constantly facing a struggle between good and evil, between light and darkness, within ourselves and in the world around us. It serves as a reminder that our actions and choices have consequences beyond what we can see on the physical plane, affecting our soul and spiritual destiny. In this sense, saving ourselves from the mark of the beast implies recognizing and resisting these negative forces, cultivating instead values and virtues that bring us closer to our true spiritual nature. It requires an act of conscious will to resist the temptations of the ego and commit ourselves to a path of spiritual growth and self-knowledge. To save ourselves from the mark of the beast and redemption, it is essential to seek spiritual enlightenment and cultivate values that connect us with our true essence. Compassion, goodness, and truth are pillars on which we can build a path to liberation from the chains of darkness. Compassion allows us to open our hearts to others as well as to ourselves, recognizing the shared humanity that unites us all. We not only alleviate the suffering of others by practicing compassion, but we also heal our own emotional wounds and strengthen our bond with the divine. Goodness, for its part, drives us to act generously and benevolently in all our interactions. By sowing seeds of goodness in the world, we contribute to creating a more loving and harmonious environment in which we can flourish as spiritual beings. The search for truth is another crucial aspect of our journey to redemption. The truth frees us from the illusions and deceptions that keep us trapped in darkness. By committing ourselves to the quest for truth, we open ourselves up to a greater understanding of the universe and ourselves, allowing the light of wisdom to illuminate our way. Moreover, we can interpret the mark of the beast as a manifestation of our alienation from our divine essence. In this sense, salvation involves reconnecting with our spiritual source through practices such as meditation, prayer, and contemplation. Meditation helps us calm the mind and tune with the divine presence that resides within us. By immersing ourselves in the silence of the present moment, we can experience unity with the divine and dissolve the barriers that separate us from our true nature. Prayer is another powerful tool for reconnecting with the divine. By engaging in prayer, we expose ourselves to the universe's guidance and support, reaffirming our eternal love and care. By entrusting our concerns and longings to a higher power, we release the burden of our burdens and allow the light of grace to illuminate us. The mark of the beast's salvation is not a final destiny, but rather a continuous process of spiritual growth and transformation. It requires a conscious commitment to living in harmony with higher principles that transcend the limitations of materiality and negativity. If you enjoy this fascinating video, I invite you to like it. You can also leave us your comments, and I will be happy to read them. Subscribe to our channel for more content on this topic. Thank you for being part of this community. See you in the next video. See you soon.